Welcome back for another episode of the Bible Vlog. Today we are jumping into 1 Corinthians chapter 9. More instruction that our man Paul is giving to the Corinthian church here. Just like it was good for them, it's good for us today. Let's kick this thing off. It's chapter 9. Growing up as a kid in church, I remember that one of the most common criticisms you would hear was about how much money the pastor made. I remember there was a running joke when it came to how much money the preacher made, and it said, "Lord, you keep him humble, we'll keep him poor." Now, some of us might laugh at this, but it's no joke that a lot of pastors have to be extremely mindful when it comes to their appearance before people. I've seen preachers hesitate to go on vacation, get a certain house or car, all because people might think that they're making too much or doing too well. Now, I do think there is a point that some people go beyond that is so extreme that it's not right what they're doing. You don't get into ministry to become rich, and if you do, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. But at the same time, you also don't have to receive almost nothing for your work either. See, there is a balance here, and it's one of the things that Paul addresses in this chapter. See, just like today, there were people back then from the church who were hesitant in supporting Paul's ministry. Many of them thought, well, he makes tents for a living. He's well connected. He can pay for himself. But this attitude was wrong because it was taking away from Paul's mission in telling people about Christ. He needed the support. This is where we as church members and the body of Christ are charged with supporting ministries by our financial giving. Let me just be very direct on this topic for a moment. If you are one of those people who refuse to give to your church or other ministries when you are being fed, then you're just being a leech. God expects that you should help take care of our ministry leaders. Now again, all of this is within balance, but learn to be a giver. Learn to support the work of the church. Look at how Paul addresses this in verses 7 through 11. "Whoever goes to war at his own expense, who plants a vineyard and does not eat of its fruit, or who tends a flock and does not drink of the milk of the flock. Do I say these things as a mere man, or does not the law say the same also? For it is written in the law of Moses, you shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain. Is it oxen God is concerned about? Or does he say it altogether for our sakes? For our sakes, no doubt this is written, that he who plows should plow in hope, and he who threshes in hope should be partaker of his hope. If we have sown spiritual things for you, is it a great thing if we reap your material things?" Paul is saying, guys, we've been helping you. We've been writing letters, preaching to you, working with you, and giving you instruction on living for Christ for nothing. It's not wrong for us to expect some support from you all. And again, this same principle applies today. I can personally tell you that when my dad was a pastor and I was a PK or a preacher's kid, there were a lot of things that we gave up simply because of the appearance that it might look like we had more than we should have. And looking back on it, it's wrong that that even happened. In my opinion, with all the responsibilities and stresses of running a church or ministry, the last thing in the world a leader should have to worry about is how to limit how much they can provide for their own family. All right, skip ahead a little bit and let's read verses 19 through 22. "For although I am free from all men, I have made myself a servant to all that I might win the more. And to the Jews I became as a Jew that I might win Jews. To those who are under the law, as under the law, that I might win those who were under the law. To those who are without law, as without law, not being without law toward God, but under law towards Christ, that I might win those who are without law. And to the weak I became as weak that I might win the weak. I have become all things to all men that I might by all means save some." You know what Paul is saying here? That outside of violating biblical morality, he would go to any lengths to enter the world of others and then lead them to salvation. If Paul were around today, he would take an active interest in your life, your hobbies, things you like. He would talk about all of those things with you, and at the same time, use it as a way to not only get into your life and get to know you, but ultimately to present the message of Jesus. You know what this is a perfect illustration of? Taking an interest in the person first before presenting the gospel. I believe one of the most powerful ways that you can share Jesus with people is by first being involved in their lives. When they know that you're interested and truly care about them, people are always more open to listening. Okay, one more passage to check out here. Go to verses 24 through 27. "Do you not know that those who run in a race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. And everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown, but we for an imperishable crown. Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty. Thus I fight not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified." So Paul closes the chapter by giving this illustration of all of us running a race. But while we are running this race, it requires self-discipline in order to win it. It requires us saying no to our flesh at times in order to win others for Christ. But ultimately, in the end, it's not just a prize prize that we are competing for, but people's very lives when they come to know Christ. All right, guys, well, that is going to wrap it for us today with chapter 9. Man, over halfway through this book already. Go fast. All right, well, thank you as always for being here. Come back tomorrow for chapter 10. More good stuff. Till then, be good. You know I love your faces. All right, see you back here tomorrow.